You're rolling though.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Get up close and personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chris, great to see you out tonight. You were originally supposed to be pacing, but a little under the weather.
Yeah. A little under the weather this week, but feeling a lot better, and hopefully I'm not going to pass anything on to everyone this here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should be good to go in a couple of days. Just instead I'll be here talking to you, doing mic stuff, doing other things that otherwise athletes don't get to do if they're racing. So I'm quite enjoying that already.
And tell me this, like, how does like even something simple as a little cold like affect you, maybe in your training, or even just from like a mental point of view? Do you find it kind of like makes you feel a little bit anxious, or how do you deal with it? Like some younger people might feel like it's the end of the world, the season is gone. How is that kind of like, how do you approach that now, and has it changed as you've gotten further into your career?
It's funny, like, it is amazing how even an afternoon off when you're younger feels like the end of the world. Yeah. Just a couple of hours, but
a rest day.
Yeah, a rest day is like, no, unless I chose to do it, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as you get older, you kind of realise what is or isn't important, and what is worth stressing out and what isn't. And I think it's the first bug I've had in a while, actually. So I had to take 4 days off, and I'm just gonna have to flush the system out and get going again. So. Mentally it doesn't affect me, physically it just means I'm a bit rusty. But no, I mean, listen, it's just life and just the way things are. I'm kind of used now, since having a 2-year-old, that this happens semi-often.
It probably, having a child has prepared you for the inconsistencies of training and running.
I was talking to Ben True at New York Half recently, and we were talking about how you're constantly getting into good shape and then taking a massive step back because of bugs you get from your kiddies, and it's all nursery related. It's all kind of, as athletes you want to control these things, and it gets harder and harder. And I heard another story, and I apologise if it was wrong. Meb Klafeski destroyed his surname, sorry, anyway, but I hear he used to take his children out of nursery 4 weeks before a major marathon to reduce the risks of illnesses, and I can see why, because again I'm constantly trying to reduce those fears. But you're a runner with a family, with children, playing with other children. I mean, my son, I picked him up from nursery the other week, and I looked through the window and he's just licking toys, just going around the room picking objects up, licking them, and I'm just thinking,
the upside of that, he might have a strong immune system later in life.
He might, but then again, it's my immune system I'm worried about. But I mean, fine, whatever you want to do, mate. You lick everything you can find, and
brilliant.
Great. But
so for the rest of the season, I was listening to a podcast you did, we say end of last year, and you mentioned about maybe potentially dabbling in a 10k or so like this year. Is that still on the cards, or was this sort of a kind of an introductory to that, maybe a pacing job?
Well, there was an entertainment for having a go at, full disclosure, a British record today, age group 1, but unfortunately the bug just definitely put that at bay. But there was a bit of a thought process in the back of my mind after London, because 4 weeks is, with the way things are, 4 weeks is not a lot, but it is a lot of time, and I had a lot of fitness that was in there that I could have brought forward into this. So we'll have a look, because there's not many more 10Ks, if any, for the rest of the year. So I just need to, it's only been like 4 weeks since the marathon, so I need to put a line in the sand and think. I am actually down to run Boulder to Boulder next week.
Okay. Is that a 10 miler?
10K.
10K or 10K, yeah.
I've always wanted to run or race at altitude, I'm finally going to get to do it, which I've obviously trained there, but I feel like that's a bit of a leveler for me. Altitude's been something that you hear of athletes that the conversion is not as big because they just seem to lap up running at altitude, and I'm one of those athletes, so I'm interested to see how it goes, even though I've had a bit of a...
Do you go to altitude training?
I used to a lot when I was younger, when I was just a full-time elite, no kids and that. I went to Flagstaff recently, in the build-up to London. That's the first time I've been to altitude since 2018. And again, I hadn't been in like whatever year, that's 5 years, and within a few within a week I was, this is normal behaviour for me. So
is it something you would like to be able to do more of, or is it something over the time, does it make as much? Obviously we see all the top athletes in the world train there, but half the time they're just nice environments. Like, what's your kind of opinion? And like, do you feel like you're missing out on that and not being there, or?
Yeah, I think again, it all depends on the athlete, but for me, getting as much exposure to altitude throughout a year in training cycles, in my opinion, or for me, was huge. Like, and always staying in touch with that at various points through the year, I think made a big difference for me. I mean, while I was there, it seemed like it wasn't doing anything to me, but certainly racing at sea level, just the recovery and my ability to handle races was a lot stronger. So, and it's just a lifestyle thing. I just don't have the ability or time to be able to dedicate as much, which is fine. I mean, I've raced pretty well over the last 4 or 5 years without it. Qualified for the Olympics, run at the Olympics without it. So I'd like to if I could, but if I can't. And I think now, today, I think it's hard to find athletes that don't use it. Whereas when I was growing up, it was a bit of a luxury for some athletes to afford it, nowhere to go. Now it's just part of an everyday diet for most elite athletes. All I ever see people posting is which altitude camp they're at, and Flagstaff's become like this mecca for people to come flocking from all over Europe and America. So it's there's a reason for that. I mean, people wouldn't do it or spend the money or dedicate the time if there wasn't a reason for it.
Yeah, true. And how's the body recovered post-London?
Not too bad. I've run a couple of 10Ks.
Okay, I saw,
I had about 4 or 5 days off, did a couple of half sessions, ran a 10K in Birmingham, 29, just under 29 and a half, which I was pleased with. I was still sore. And then Bristol 10K a week later, which similar time. Felt pretty good doing that. But then this bug. But yeah, it's been fine, other than it's just nice doing smaller sessions and not going out the door and going, this is going to take 2 hours of running at breakneck speed. So,
and you're doing most of the training by yourself now, are you?
All of it, yeah.
Okay, So do you find the races kind of maybe break up the monotony of training?
Well, that's part of another, because I hadn't raced in a while. So once I got into this shape, I was like, it's like one of those kind of kids in a candy store. Like shove as much racing as I could. So I'll spend the rest of the year trying to race and enjoy myself as much as I can, because that's what I like to do. And it was a nice block of training, but yeah, I want to race. I want to get.
And race-wise, what are you thinking? What's on the cards for the rest of the year?
So yeah, as I think I said earlier, Boulder to Boulder next week, and part of the GB team there, and then I'm looking at the World Road Running Championships I think end of September. So I'd obviously have to qualify. I need to look at races to set that up. I wouldn't mind going on the track and doing a couple of bits, but again, I need to look at the diary, and then maybe a marathon at the end of the year. I don't know. At the moment, I'm just still trying to take stock of what's realistic, what's going to. I mean, I'm not doing it, but me and my coach did actually discuss the 50k champs late in the year, but we parked that up. But we did, at the moment we're looking at fun ideas, fun things. Like hence why today would have been fun to do it.
There's going to be. Seems like there's going to be no stopping you, because there's just so many more events to pick from, and that, having fun with the 50k, and it must all come from just a love of running.
I think it's more a love of the culture and just the well-being of the result of looking after yourself and trying to run quick. I mean, running is weird, because a lot of people, when I have always been surprised when I said I didn't find running through the love of running. It was more the friendships and I loved the feeling of pushing my body to its limit. And that you can do that in a lot of different ways. And so, the physical act of physically running is that's not the thing I'm drawn to. It's the challenge of it. The passions and the drives, the things you set yourself is what I get addicted to. Because I have an addictive personality. I think most elite sports people have addictive personalities.
It's the healthier one to be addicted to.
There's plenty of other, like my wife always says to me, gets annoyed at me for that, and I'm like, look, I could be addicted to a lot worse things. So just don't take it away from me, because you never know where I might end up. So brilliant. Listen, Chris, I won't hold you any longer. I could chat to you all day, but best of luck with the rest of the season, and thanks for having a word with us. Great to join the team. Cheers. First interview, legend. I think you nailed it. You should retire now. That's it. You've peaked. I'm hanging up the accreditation. There we go. Perfect. So, Chris, cheers, man. Brilliant. Cheers, we'll see you around, and good talking with you, man.